Hello, I'm Robin Gibson, and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm sitting today with Michael Porter. Welcome back, Michael.
Yeah, morning, Robin.
We're not sure whether it's winter or summer in Howick. We're swinging between 35 and 12. So you can see we've got jerseys back on after sweltering last week. Michael, last week we chatted to Willie about the US 10-year bond yield being at sort of long-time highs, back where it was 2007. And we were talking about the fact that the US Fed really wants to cool the economy. And then on Friday we had this surprise double jobs print number come out. How did the market react to that, and has it worked like we expected it to work?
Yeah, Robin, so Friday was a big day. The first Friday of the month is always when the US releases its unemployment data, or employment data. Mm-hmm. It came out at sort of 3 o'clock or 2:30, and the market was expecting 170,000 new jobs in the US. I mean, just think about that number in isolation for a moment, you know. Anyway, the number came out to 377,000 new jobs. Wow. Double the amount that they were expecting, and markets plummeted. So, you know, why would they plummet when you're creating jobs, right?
Yes.
The problem is that good news is bad news at the moment, and bad news is good news.
Right.
And the market interpreted that as to say, well, the economy is actually stronger than we think. Inflation's not going down anytime soon. The Federal Reserve is going to keep on hiking interest rates. So our market fell quite rapidly. The rand, having strengthened all day, it started the day at 1960 or 1965 to the dollar. By 2 o'clock it was at 1935. Immediately lost all those gains again in the space of 5 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
And that's how quickly the market reacted to that news.
Yeah. So, Michael, I think then subsequent to that, the market rallied hard, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we closed sort of, you know, at a weaker sort of level, Robin, as obviously in our time. And then the US market actually rallied quite hard over the course of the evening, you know, in their time. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a real push and a pull at the moment between markets. On the one hand, you have got this concern about interest rates and whether they're going to raise interest rates again. And quite honestly, if they raise interest rates one more time or not, I mean, I think it's a non-event almost, quite honestly.
Yes.
If I look at the forecast for US interest rates over the next year, they are still forecast to fall dramatically over the course of next year. Yes. Now, we've been on the page that we don't think interest rates will fall as quickly as maybe the market is anticipating. Yeah. And I think that's played out over the last sort of 6 weeks where markets have been a bit weak. People have been adjusting to the sort of higher for longer kind of mantra. Yes. But yes, on the other hand, you know, everybody's concerned about growth. You've got a strong number, you've got inflation has fallen a little bit. And so you've got income gains in the US. You've got household income growing, which is obviously supportive. Yes. Yes. And then obviously, Robin, over the weekend, everything was thrown into disarray by Israel and Hamas.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, who knows really where we stand this morning? Quite honestly.
Yeah. So Michael, I mean, I think the other sort of maybe the other terminology we use, good news is bad news, but the other one that's used quite often is hard landing versus soft landing, and this. Sort of the jobs print relative to where interest rates are is maybe suggesting a soft landing as opposed to a hard landing. Could that be some of the optimism?
Yeah, I think so, Robin. I think that sort of Goldilocks scenario, not too hot, not too cold, you know, is another term that's sort of frequented around. And yes, I mean, you know, there is growing concern that the US is going into recession next year. I think that's a very real concern. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's going to be a big surprise given where interest rates are. But if you can engineer a soft landing where the economy cools without a deep recession, but a mild recession, that would obviously be first prize. But we've got to also remember that next year is an election year in the US.
Yes.
It's an election year in the UK. Yep. It's an election year here. Right. There's some big elections going on next year that are also going to shape policy, I think, a little bit. You know?
Yes, yeah. And we might see some big changes. Michael, thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It's great to see the South Africans are through to the quarterfinals. Let's hope we can beat France this coming weekend. Thank you for joining us. See you again next time. Bye-bye.